Welcome to the Sweat, everyone. It's the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. There's no way in hell you have anything better to do right now, so allow us to entertain you for the next 60 minutes.
He's Emerson. I'm Jessie. We'll get you guys set for a massive 14-game slate tonight in Major League Baseball, as well as some NBA and PGA betting advice for the weekend ahead, because that's what you want to do your Memorial Day weekend. You want to bet.
DFS advice as well. Pablo Sandoval, the Giants, will also join the program, as in, right meow. Okay, we've just been loaded with special guests ahead of this holiday weekend, and right now, yes, we've got an early all-star candidate joining DraftKings as a Sweat. That would be veteran Pablo Sandoval of the San Francisco Giants. Fantastic to see your face on our screen.
Thank you, man. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're happy to have you here. So you're on your second stop in San Francisco in your MLB career. What makes playing in San Francisco so special? We want to know.
I think it's fan support. The support they give it to us is big time, and make it easy for us to play every day. And the organization, my teammates, the manager, Bruce Bochy, I think so is one of the reasons make this special.
You look at this roster you're on, man. You got veterans all over the place. So how is it playing with such an experienced team been compared to other years with younger talent?
Sometimes you mix it up. Sometimes you have to have veteran and your team. And I think so we got guys that have been most 10 years in the big leagues. One knows those guys going to be in the 10 soon as possible. So, being around those guys, you learn a lot of things. And, have those guys as a teammate is a good experience.
So you've been hot as of late, raising your average over 40 points the last few weeks. So what's been working for you lately?
I think I spend time with my kid.
Okay.
Working out with his swing in the backyard in my house. So I think it's helping me to get my swing going.
All right, so you hit 9 home runs last season. You already have 7 this year, on pace for 26. That would be a career best for you. What is it? Is it the comfort at the plate that's leading to more power?
I think so. When you're getting old in the big leagues, you learn a lot of things, and you're going to start doing things that you don't do them before. And when you get better and the home plate, you start getting old. I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. When you start getting old, you start playing around with your bats. So I was using a bat with 31 and a half. So now I use a 35 ounce bat. So it's 33 and a half length, weighting 35 ounce. So helping me get 10 more feet and that power.
So earlier this month, you became the first major leaguer since 1905 to hit a home run, steal a base, and pitch a scoreless inning in the same game. Now, I'm sure that's probably not what you expected when you woke up that morning. So tell us about that experience.
I wake up that morning and I don't even know that I'm going to stolen base because I don't stolen base since 2012. So, I think it wasn't that move that I had to do something today. I wake up like that. And I don't even know that a stolen base. I got a stolen base in that game that day because the game was so long. And, I just focused to do the thing, I hope everything that I can. Is one of the things the role that I set this year to come here and I do everything that I can to help this team. So I got the opportunity to pitch again. So thanks, Bochy. Give me the opportunity again.
We've seen Shohei Ohtani do it, kind of making time to pitch while helping out his own cause with the bat, hitting dingers. I mean, how much are you thinking about adding pitching to your repertoire now? We're going to see more of this now moving forward?
I don't know. I hope not, because the next day you wake up everything, your arm, everything's sore. So I hope not. I like to do it for fun, but for career, I don't think so.
I mean, man, you're pretty good at it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. They may have you there, on the reserve list, man.
All right, Bruce Bochy has announced that this will be his final season in San Fran. Have you noticed any differences in his style between your first stay with the Giants compared to these last few seasons?
You know, he's still the same. He's still the same. He's one of those money is still the same. He didn't change nothing. You know, I learned a lot of things from him. You know, being the last season for him is gonna be special. But you know, the way we play is tough. But I think it's the thing he do for this organization, the things he do for the city means a lot. Have people, a great manager like him, and a Hall of Fame one day.
Hey, what fantasy sports have you played over the years?
I play football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been in you've had a team or two over the years?
I got it. I do it with a teammate because I don't know how to do it. So I don't know how to play football. My country don't play football. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
so I had to do it with a teammate. And my teammate picked everything, and we're going through.
So it must be a big deal in the clubhouse. Like a lot of teammates are playing.
Yes. Yeah, we got a competition. We got the coaching staff, the trainers, all those, my teammates, all those guys play. We play together.
All right, we're going to put you on the spot before we let you go. Since we're DraftKings, we're going to let you draft your top 3 best Venezuelan MLB players of all time. Who you taking here? You can think.
Gosh.
You can think. Yeah, take a second.
Oh, yeah. Don't put me in that spot. First one, Miggy. Yep. Miguel Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
One. I think second one is Andres Galarraga.
Hey, don't forget Aparicio, maybe, right?
No, I don't see Aparicio playing. That's what happened.
Okay.
First Venezuelan. Okay.
Well, but
it's your team.
We can do Aparicio.
Okay.
Yeah. Second Aparicio. The pitching is Kim Felix.
Okay.
And maybe Jose Altuve one day. Hey, maybe you one day on that list.
What? Yeah. But, hey, you asked me the best 3 player. Best at Aparicio, Miguel, and Felix as a pitcher. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't
let Emerson. Yeah, one day Altuve. Don't let Emerson try to draft your team for you.
I know, man. Well, you said the whole partner up with everyone in the clubhouse. I just wanted to.
He tried to help.
I want to play with you.
With those guys. You're gonna get me in trouble with those guys.
No, we love you, man.
Yeah, Pablo Sandoval, thank you so much for joining DraftKings as the Sweat. Good luck this weekend against the Diamondbacks.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am not going to help Pablo build his fantasy baseball team. It seems like he wants nothing.
He wanted to do it on his own.
Okay, that's fine.
Hands off.
Next up on this award-winning internet program is Jonah Carey, writer, producer, Mr. Do-It-All for The Athletic.
Jonah, thanks for joining the program. Let's get your opinion on some of the top storylines on tonight's baseball slate.
Good idea.
Starting with a great matchup between Blake Snell and Shane Bieber as the Rays visit Cleveland. Who has the advantage in this one?
I love this matchup for so many reasons. You look at these two guys in terms of percentage of swings that go for misses. Shane Bieber induces more swings and misses than every other pitcher in the American League except Blake Snell. Blake Snell, 40% of the time when you swing at a Blake Snell pitch, you miss it. That is unbelievable. You look at these two offenses here. Tampa Bay, 5th best in the league against right-handed pitching. Bieber's a right-hander. Cleveland, on the other hand, 25th best against left-handers. That sets up well for Tampa Bay. And here is the real decider. Blake Snell's curveball. You can't hit the thing. 143 batting average against Blake Snell's curveball this year, and he throws it about 1/3 of the time. Expect to see lots of swings and misses on that curve by Cleveland. Tampa Bay and Blake Snell prevail tonight.
I would like to add Blake Snell, friend of the program. He joined us and basically never lost ever again since talking to us. So
it's good luck to come on this program.
Yes, fantastic. Josh Bell is off to a nice start. Scratch that. He's off to a ridiculously hot start to the season. Dude went 3 for 4, his 16th ding-dong on Thursday against Colorado. It's so easy for him right now, though. He's even blowing bubbles on doubles. Ooh. I don't know if you've seen the video blowing the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the chances he continues this power surge, though, against the Dodgers this weekend, starting tonight against Walker Buehler?
Yeah, Walker Buehler's an excellent pitcher, one of the best right-handers in the league. And if you look at it, he throws a lot of fastballs. He throws fastballs more than 60% of the time. It's one of the highest rates of fastballs in all of baseball. So why is that relevant? Well, Josh Bell, who's really good, is really, really, really good against fastballs. He's better than Bellinger. He's better than Yelich. He's better than anybody in the entire National League against fastballs. He demolishes them. And even though Buehler's been really good, if you look at his splits this season, he's given up only 5 home runs. That's good. But 4 of those 5 have come against left-handed hitters. Josh Bell's a switch hitter. He smokes fastballs. Walker Buehler throws lots of fastballs. Josh Bell goes yard again tonight. Bank on it.
All right, bank on it. The Twins, though, had never hit 8 home runs in a game in franchise history prior to this season. Now, they've done it twice. Clubbing 8 long balls last night versus the Angels. Could there be another derby in Mini tonight as the White Sox and Ronaldo Lopez come to town?
Well, again, it's a case where you could look at the pitcher and say, well, maybe it might not be so easy because Ronaldo Lopez has been really good. Over his last 7 starts, he's only given up 5 home runs. He gave up 6 in his previous 2 starts before that. So he's been much better. He's striking out about a batter per inning. All that matches up pretty well, you would think, for Chicago. But here's the deal with the Twins. They're so good this year. You mentioned the 8 home runs that they just hit. How about this? By isolated power, which is just slugging percentage minus batting average, the Twins are by far, and I mean by far, the best team in baseball. As a team, their isolated power is 249. What does that mean, 249? I don't understand. Simple. Every guy on the Twins, on average, is Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins, who was in the home run derby, Rhys Hoskins, who has 35-40 home run power, that is the average Minnesota Twins hitter. I would look for Ronaldo Lopez, who has been pitching well, to run into trouble again because the Twins are so damn good. That's the problem.
Well, tonight, the Blue Jays will become the first MLB team to have 2 sons of Hall of Famers active on the same roster when Kevin Biggio makes his big league debut. Of course, the other being Vlad Guerrero Jr. You make no secret about being a Montreal Expos fan, so what's your favorite Vlad Guerrero Sr. story?
Yeah, the Tim Raines bobblehead over my right shoulder probably gives it away a little bit. Okay,
just a wee bit.
A little bit. But I've got lots of Vlad stories, but here's one. It's September 21st, 1996. They've just called Vlad up. He weighs about 130 pounds soaking wet. He's a phenom. He's a string bean. He's all that. They're playing against the Atlanta Braves. Mark Wohlers is the closer for the Atlanta Braves. Mark Wohlers, probably the best closer in the league at this point. Vlad gets behind 0-2. And now the announcers are taunting Felipe Alou, the manager of the Expos. They're saying, why is this guy coming up? It doesn't make any sense. In fact, I'm going to read you the quote, if you don't mind.
No.
The quote is, here's a kid coming in against the best closer in the league, and you're only down by 2, said Don Sutton, who became a Hall of Famer. This is a white flag. He said on live air, this is a white flag, Vladimir Guerrero. The next pitch is about 4, 5, 6 inches off the plate. It's not even a strike. Vlad reaches, he's got no batting gloves, of course, reaches across the plate and flicks it off the foul pole in right field, opposite field dong, and Don Sutton said, well, stroke of luck. Wasn't a stroke of luck, my friend. He went on to become a Hall of Famer. He did it to a lot of pitchers, many of them not as good as Mark Wohlers. Vladimir Guerrero, forever a legend, whether you're an Expos fan or not.
Dude would literally swing and actually hit anything and everything that he saw. But can I ask you this? Imagine the fearsome father-son softball team, though, the Jays can compile once Bo Bichette gets the call up. Have you thought about that yet?
Absolutely. Clemens' kid, Roger Clemens' kid is in that minor league system.
That's right.
Too, so
that's right.
You can pitch as well. You got everybody there. We need to get like Mickey Morandini's kid. Just like load him up. It doesn't matter. Any guy who played in the 90s, just put him on that team. And that should be great. Absolutely.
I would love to see that. Jonah Carey,
you're a big softball fan.
You're actually not done just yet. We need you to chase your fate. Some MLB bets for tonight, so please just hang out for a little bit.
Will do.
What's up? It's Brendan Glasheen, and with this DraftKings Fantasy Flash, another son of a Hall of Famer is set to make his Major League and Blue Jays debut. Kevin Biggio, son of Astros legend Craig Biggio, will start at second base for Toronto's series opener against the Padres. Kevin joins Vlad Guerrero Jr. with the big club. No pressure, Bo Bichette. Biggio gets the call up from AAA Buffalo after posting a 307, 445, 504/line through 42 games in his first AAA season. Per Baseball America, the 24-year-old is ranked the 9th best prospect in the Blue Jays farm system. You'll find Biggio on tonight's 14-game slate. He costs just $3,100. He's a left-handed batter, unlike his pops, who is a righty. But like his dad, Cavan can hit against anyone. His numbers don't drop significantly when he faces lefty pitching. That's Biggio's task tonight as the Padres send southpaw Joey Lucchesi to the hill.
Lots of baseball, only baseball up to this point in the show. So let's talk about a sport that will not have meaningful games played for months. Geoff Ulrich, Steve Buchanan, Pierce Dietrich here for some NFL spin move.
That means let's put a fantasy spin on some of the top stories right now.
Yeah.
So, Lamar Jackson is not happy with how he's throwing the ball in OTAs. Does that impact at all how you look at him for fantasy this season, Geoff?
I mean, I wasn't expecting much from Lamar Jackson passing, so I don't really care if he's passing better or not. I just don't think that he's the type of quarterback you're going to see incrementally big improvements in the passing game in his career. He didn't show big improvement in college, and he didn't really show that big improvement. He got a little bit better down the stretch, but I think little improvements and little bit of efficiency improvements are what you're going to look for Lamar Jackson. But all of his fantasy goodness comes from his running. So that's all you should really care about if you're drafting or thinking about drafting Lamar Jackson in the season long. I don't like it. I think them bringing in Mark Ingram, even if his rushing attempts go down a little bit, it's really going to hurt his fantasy totals. So, no, I definitely don't like the news that he's not happy with his passing, but I'm not shocked to hear that either.
Hey, Steve, do you care about his passing?
I mean, he completed 57% of his passes in college, 58.2 in the NFL. If he's not happy with what he's throwing right now, what are we at, 25% at this point now during OTAs? I mean, I don't see how it can get much worse to begin with. But like Geoff said, you're not taking Jackson because of his passing abilities or whatever you want to call it. You're taking him for his legs and what he does on the ground. And you look at the receivers he has to work with too. I mean, I'm probably not helping either. Willie Snead, Marquise Brown, household names that we have over here at the Ravens. So, I mean, you can't expect him to do something well like that anyways to begin with. That's just not his strength. So, yeah, sorry to hear, but that's not what we're taking you for anyways.
Pierce, Lamar Jackson not happy with how he's throwing the ball. What impact does that have for you?
None.
Okay.
Steve says we can't expect him. He can't expect himself to pass better either. Why does he wait till second season in the NFL to all of a sudden set these high standards? He's never been a good passer. He's just now deciding to work on his mechanics. It's a little late to the game to decide now that, I'm going to work on how to throw the ball better, considering he's probably thrown the football for the last 20 years of his life. So this is just a joke. I don't even know why he even said this. He does it with his legs. That's all we care about.
All right, let's talk about a guy who can throw the football better here. What's that?
Yeah, he's just, hot topic right now.
Yeah, it is. Steven, this is the biggest NFL news of the day. Aaron Rodgers. He cannot chug a beer.
Cannot.
You don't want him on your flip cup team.
No.
Or would you draft him on your beer pong team?
I don't know if he knows how to play beer pong.
He probably doesn't. However, I can confirm that the Game of Thrones Extra can throw the football. The Packers haven't really added anyone, though, to their wide receiver core here. So do you like the guys Rodgers has to work with, Steven?
Well, if you do want to get someone for a flip cup, definitely this guy right here, the champion.
Whoa, after the
ranked,
show, Steve. Actually, I care.
Yeah, calm down, graphics department, okay? Big guy over here. But look, after Devontae Adams, it's just a bunch of question marks here for the Packers. And let's not forget either, they don't really have a traditional slot receiver either because Randall Cobb is no longer with them at this point. So, I mean, I guess it's Marquez Valdez-Scantling is probably the guy you want to look at. But I think if anything is actually set to benefit, actually might be Aaron Jones getting some more work out of the backfield there. I think that might actually make the most sense here. But, yeah, the Packers receivers core is going to be a mess this season, and it's really going to just show how much they're going to need Devontae Adams going forward. But, yeah, it does not look good for the Packers here at this point.
Pierce, your thoughts on the guys that Rodgers has to work with, and could it actually hurt his fantasy value?
It's bad, and it might hurt his fantasy value a little bit, but I don't think it will. I mean, you just got to accept the situation. There weren't any free agents to go after, and the Packers have never been a team to go after receivers in the draft. You look at the last 10 years, only 2 times have they drafted a wide receiver in the first or second round. That was Adams and Cobb. So this is pretty much par for the course for Aaron Rodgers. He'll figure it out like he always has.
Is he going to figure it out, Geoff?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I get heated talking about this. The Packers are just stupid. I mean, why wouldn't you build your offense around the best player? I mean, look what the Patriots do every year for Tom Brady. If they're short a player, they bring in a guy like Josh Gordon. They bring in Brandon Cooks for a year. they surround their best player with good talent. What do the Packers do? They bring in a run-heavy coach for Aaron Rodgers, and then they sign and draft no one, and they make sure their wide receiver depth gets depleted, and they still have old guy Jimmy Graham at tight end. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I like some of these guys. I like Equanimeous St. Brown. I think he actually profiles as a number one receiver, but we saw last year he's inconsistent. He's a gamble. We don't know if he's going to turn out. After Devontae Adams, it's a complete dice roll what the Packers are going into this season with. And with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, that's a sad state of affairs, in my opinion. So I don't really like it, but this still could turn out well because some of these guys do have talent.
Hey, Geoff, real quick, what were your thoughts on his failure really to chuck that beer?
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers is a team guy. He's building up his O-line. He doesn't want to embarrass people. I get it. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
That was important.
All right, Ben Watson saying yesterday that he only targeted New Orleans and New England as landing spots to come out of retirement. And he said that Gronk's retirement had nothing to do with his decision.
Okay, bro.
Right. Even if that is true, someone has to step up in Gronk's absence. So with the New England tight end trio of Watson, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and Matt Lacoste, do you see any fantasy value here, Pierce?
I don't at all. I mean, the Patriots, they had Gronk, and so they made that a key part of their offense. Before Gronk, it wasn't a tight end heavy offense, and I don't think we're going to go back in that direction. Bill Belichick's going to do what Bill Belichick wants to do based on the players, and Watson's old. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, the biggest moment of his career is he got a DUI. These guys are not good. I'm not talking about the other tight end. I mean, we might as well talk about Blake Jarwin while we're at it. I'm tired of talking about these nobody tight ends.
Geoff, Pierce is out on the New England tight ends. How do you feel?
Poor Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I mean, look, I think Matt Lacoste is the most interesting of this group. Ben Watson, I think, will get some play, but Austin Seferian-Jenkins is not a good pass block. I don't think he's going to fit in very well. Matt Lacoste is a legit athlete. I mean, he's a 4.6 guy, definitely can be used in a variety of different scenarios. We've seen Bill Belichick, with an athletic tight end who I won't name on the program just for past, bring up bad memories, but he used to move him around a lot. And Lacoste does profile in that direction. He's not Rob Gronkowski. Don't be thinking that. Don't be chasing the next Rob Gronkowski because there isn't one. But I could see Matt Lacoste by the end of the year getting worked into this offense and being a vital part. That's the guy I would be gambling on for fantasy personally. I wouldn't go overboard, but he's the guy you should have your name on, your eyes on, so to speak, because he definitely profiles as a possible Gronk type replacement.
Steve, I know you cried many tears over Gronk's retirement.
This is tough for you, Steve.
I mean, that was tough. I have a special place in my heart for him. But, Ben Watson, I hope he didn't have a retirement party and people gave him gifts because they probably feel like crap right now because that lasted about 2 days.
Does he have to return them?
Yeah, I mean, return them, I don't know, whatever he wants to do. But it's like the New England tight end situation is just a mess. I mean, Geoff mentioned Lacoste. I mean, he was pretty good over in Denver, averaged 10.4 yards per reception, only scored 1 touchdown, but, the whole Denver offense was a mess anyways if your name wasn't Philip Lindsay. But, yeah, I mean, this is just not a position of strength anymore for the Patriots, so you got to look at the receivers, and obviously that's not too strong either. So, obviously Bill Bell's just going to figure it out. Obviously they have some plan in place here, but, replacing Gronk, that's some giant shoes to fill, so... Lacoste
not to interrupt Steve here, but I do think you're going to see a lot of Ben Watson this year. I'm not trying to be like the Patriots insider, but I do think that Ben Watson probably the most well-rounded of this group. You're probably going to see him more than you think.
Yeah, he's a little pudgy, well-rounded. So am I, but I like pizza.
Don't we all?
I think you all are
love
extremely
pizza.
handsome, but that's just me. Thanks, dudes. We've got some NBA.
Maintaining that grip on number 1 spot, Emerson.
Wow!
And you look so damn good in blue. I'm sorry, you really do. All right, we got some NBA over-under coming up after these rookie running back words from Pat Mayo.
Be Josh Jacobs in Oakland. It looks like the job is his. We think, at least right now, with Gruden under center, or Gruden coaching, we can put him in the backfield. Does he get all 3? Well. Yeah, I mean, just put Gruden at quarterback. Couldn't be any worse than Derek Carr. I'm not even saying David Carr anymore. I'm locked into Derek Carr. But with Jacobs, is he going to be an every down back in Oakland?
Mostly. Here's the thing is you've heard a lot of people, the immediate pushback was, well, Gruden doesn't use a bell cow. That's actually a complete fallacy. If you look back at Gruden's career, first of all, he's never had that many running backs who's had a skill set like Jacobs where you can turn him into a workhorse. The second thing is people forget the very first rookie season of Cadillac Williams' career, 290, not touches, Pat, 290 carries in 14 games before they got the dude hurt, who, by the way, the very next year rolls out again for 14 games and got hurt again and still gives him another 200 and change carries. He gave Ernest Graham 222 carries in 10 starts.
Ernest Graham! I totally forgot that guy existed. We used to just call him E. Graham because we didn't know who he was.
Well, did you remember this other one too? He gave Tyrone Wheatley over 200 carries 2 years in a row.
That was in Oakland though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
were those the Charlie Garner years as well?
I think he mixed in for
one. Who was the other random Oakland running back? It was like one of my first years playing fantasy. It must have been like 2003.
Lamont Jordan?
Lamont Jordan. That's exactly who it was. Then he went to the Jets eventually.
Yep.
Lamont Jordan.
Exactly. So the point is, and if you look at the names I'm mentioning here, none of them are like otherworldly. Like Cadillac Williams probably could have had a pretty decent career if he didn't get hurt. But most of them, the point is when he's had the opportunity, he's actually ridden his lead running backs. It's just whether or not he's had that. You don't draft Josh Jacobs where they did. You don't spend that draft capital. You don't have a talent like him for what we're all assuming and judging Jacobs as a true talent. 3-down running back, a better pass catcher than people realize, and then not invest in him when you have like DeAndre Washington and they just brought back Doug Martin because they had an injury to Isaiah Crowell. Like, look, he's going to touch the ball 20 times per game. The only way he doesn't is if the defense lets him down and then they just don't have enough time on the field.
And I guess Jalen Richard's still there too, right?
Yeah, they still have a bunch of ancillary pieces.
So we're going to have a situation where if they do get down by a ton, there's the chance that they go to Rocket Richard because they just love throwing like little dump offs to him. You would think they would do that to Jacobs after spending the draft capital that they did on him.
Right.
But basically you can pencil him at least into the first 2 downs on the field and all the goal line work. And then what he gets in the receiving game is like a bonus.
Yeah, I'll compare him to James Conner with better pass catching, not a ton, but better pass catching. The fact of like, if the Steelers are down, which we probably don't expect a lot of, we would see a bigger share for Jalen Samuels. We were probably talking about 65, 70% for James Conner at the season's end. Week to week, it might vary a little bit. So to your point, if they are down, maybe Jalen Richard in that game ends up getting 30% versus 20%. So basically like that. I think that's a good comp is like a James Conner.
Get your head in the game, y'all. Okay, what's that from? Name that movie. Zac Efron.
Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf.
High School Musical. All right, say hello to DK Live's Pierce Dietrich and the Action Network's Matt LaMarca, here to play an Eastern Conference Finals edition of Over-Under.
Kawhi has dominated here in the Eastern Conference Finals. His Game 6 total is set at 30.5 points. Pierce, will he go over, which is plus 100, or under, minus 121?
I'll take the over, and maybe this is an unorthodox way of looking at it, but you look at the series, last couple series, he's getting about 10 free throws a game. So you factor in the 10 free throws, then he only needs 21 points. Give him 3 3-pointers, and then after that, it's just basically 6 layups or 6 jump shots. I don't think it's that hard. Maybe we could argue over whether he gets 3 3-pointers or not, but the 6 jump shots / layups and the 10 free throws, I don't think you can argue over those. So it just comes down to some threes, and I'm going to lean towards him making the threes.
Matt, do you have an unorthodox way of thinking about it as well?
Pierce makes it sound so easy. I think I got to take the over here. Right? He's done it in 4 of the first 5 games. There are some health concerns, but I thought he looked much better in Game 5. The efficiency has been there for him all postseason. He's shooting, over 50%. The usage rate is there. I don't see any reason why he slows down in Game 6.
All right, well, Giannis with only 6 rebounds in a losing effort in Game 5. His Game 6 rebound total is set at a steep for him, 13.5. Matt, do you like him to go over at plus 110 or under at minus 134 in Game 6?
I'm going to take the over here as well. I really don't have any numbers to back this one up. I just am expecting a humongous Giannis effort. Their backs are against the wall. I think he could play over 40 minutes in this contest. We know he's one of the best rebounders in the league. We've already seen him pull down, 23 rebounds earlier in this season, this series in a game. I'm just expecting a max effort, max minute type of performance from Giannis in Game 6.
Pierce?
I'm going under, and I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I'm expecting a disappointing game, and not really because of effort, just because Toronto is completely focusing on Giannis. And he did have a big rebound game of 23 points or 23 rebounds in this series. That was a double overtime affair. I just don't see it now with Kawhi switching over to him, just making his life miserable. Over the season, he averages just 12.5 rebounds. I know this is a playoffs, and people step it up a little bit more, but also he's dealing with a lot of double teams. He's got a lot of guys on him. I think that they're going to have to rely on the other players to get things done. Giannis isn't going to be the guy.
Only 32.5 minutes per game in the regular season. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Chris Middleton picking up 10 rebounds and 10 assists in Game 6. So, Pierce, there's a player prop here for combined points, rebounds, and assists. Middleton's total, as of right now, is set at 27.5. Do you like the over at minus 106 or the under minus 115?
I'm going to take the under. I'm never going to take an over for a Chris Middleton production point. You look at his games this series, he had a 10 rebound, 10 assist game. That's not common. He had a 30-point game. That's not common for Chris Middleton. But you look at his first 3 games, they're typical Middleton games, and he went under that number. I feel safe going. Now, again, Giannis is going to open up a lot of different opportunities for other people because of the double teams he's drawing. So Middleton's going to have a chance, but I'm just not a believer.
All right, Maddie, where are you going on this?
Yeah, I'm going under as well. You're never – I mean, I shouldn't say never, but the odds of Middleton putting up 20 combined rebounds and assists again is extremely thin. You're going to need him to score to get over on this prop, and I just don't see him having a good scoring night. He really has struggled against Toronto. They're doing a great job on him defensively. They're going to keep daring guys like Eric Bledsoe to beat them and really focus on taking away Middleton and Giannis. So I will take the under here on him.
Matt, the game total is set at 212.5. Do you like the over, which is minus 109, or the under minus 112 here?
Yeah, this is an under for me. If you look at the betting activity, it's already come down from 214 to 212.5 or even 212 at certain places. These teams are great defensive teams that at times have struggled offensively in this series. I mean, particularly Milwaukee, but Toronto has also gone through stretches where it looks like they can't put the ball in the basket. I think that we're looking at a slugfest type of game here in Game 6, so I will take the under.
Pierce.
I'm under as well. It goes back to what Matt said in the last section. It was Eric Bledsoe. I mean, Giannis is not really going to get the opportunity to beat Toronto. They're going to make someone else do it, and Eric Bledsoe's not getting it done, shooting 13% from 3, just above, 23% in the playoffs, 19% wide open for 3, and he's only shooting 19%. Basically, they're leaving him unguarded, going double team on Giannis, and leaving Kawhi on Giannis. And I don't think George Hill's going to come in and save the day either. This thing's over. I mean, the series is over. They're going under.
Oh, okay. Wow. Good stuff, guys. Matt, by the way, we use the same deodorant. I just want you to know that. I see that on your dresser back there.
Old Spice, man. You can't beat that.
Wow, that's so unique. You guys both use Old Spice. That's crazy.
Great. Baseball's on this side of Francesa Friday.
What was that?
Let's start in the NBA. Bucks won the first 2 games of the East Finals. Raptors have battled back 3 straight wins to put Milwaukee on the brink of elimination. So, this thing over?
I think it is, unless we see some drastic adjustments and somebody really stepping up for the Bucks. And I thought the Bucks would win in 7, and I think I'm going to be wrong. Here's why. To give Toronto credit, number one, after the first 2 games, they took away the Milwaukee running game. They slowed the tempo. And the difference as you're watching in the 2 stars here is pivotal, and people should notice this. This is a difference of experience and consistency. The Greek cannot score easily. He has to force it by driving the lane against a picket fence, and he keeps giving the ball up or making bad passes. When he goes to the foul line, he is an adventure. He's not scoring. So he is not getting the points he needs, while Leonard has a very efficient go-to move. He can make his foul shots. He can step back and get any shot he wants, and he beats you with that jump shot. The Greek does not have a go-to scoring move right now. That's why their scoring is very inconsistent, and they don't have a second scorer who's consistent. And on the Toronto side, Leonard is incredibly consistent. And let me say this. For those of you who weren't old enough to see Jordan, the game you're seeing from Leonard right now is Jordan-esque. The way he goes to the basket and finds space, gets to the foul line, the jumper, the dagger step, and the jumper. It's very Jordan-esque the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, but can he do it with the flu?
We'll have to find out. But you know what? He's been great. And then one of my favorites, Van Vliet, who I loved at Wichita State.
Yep.
What a game last night. Plus 28 in plus minus, 21 from the floor, hitting big three after big three. And they've gotten it, whether it's been from Powell, whether it's been from Ibaka, whether it's been from Van Vliet. They've gotten it from somebody every game. And, Milwaukee hasn't. Milwaukee hasn't been able to count on Middleton. They haven't been able to count on Brogdon. They haven't done their jobs in this series consistently. So I think, considering the scene we're going to see there, and I don't care about all this Drake, entourage Drake stuff. Who cares? But they have a heck of a crowd inside and outside. I think it's going to be too much to overcome. I think Toronto's going to put them away.
I'll tell you what, I care about the Drake stuff, so I'm glad you brought it up, because he really rubbed some people the wrong way when he grabbed Raptors coach Nick Nurse's shoulders during these finals, gave him that little rub there. Nurse said he wasn't distracted. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer didn't care for it at all. Drake essentially said, if you don't like it, be better. Should there be boundaries? I know you said you don't care, but should there be boundaries, or is it okay if Toronto's okay with it?
I meant the entourages and Drake tweeting back and forth. I was not. Drake should stay the heck in the stands. He's a spectator. He's got nothing to do with this team. And this is not his 10 minutes of fame. Get the heck off the court. You want to sing a song at halftime? Go ahead. You want to sing a song before the game? Go ahead. During the game, stay the heck away from the bench and the heck away from the team. You have nothing to do with the team.
I feel like the answer to this is going to be no, and it should be no, quite frankly. But you ever seen Spike Lee do something like this at a Knicks game, or is this really unique?
Listen, I've seen players high five Spike during the game, and I think that's out of line. I don't think those guys. I don't mind if those guys are super fans, but when the game starts, they're not part of the team, and they've got to remember they're not part of the team. Stay the heck in your seat when the game's on, and that goes for body rubs, high fives, or anything else. You're not part of the game.
Jealousy. Everybody wants to be an athlete.
Everybody wants to just jump in and be part of it and get a little fame out of it and let it rub off. You know what? Do what you do. Stay the heck out of the way when it's not your time.
That's why I do these chats with you. I just want the fame to rub off.
It's working well. That's not a bad idea.
Does a lack of Durant and Cousins level the field for the Bucks or Raptors, or do you actually like what Golden State has going without those two All-Stars?
Let me say this. Green's game expands by multiples when Durant isn't playing, because he's not part of the offense when he does everything else, but he's not part of the offense except to be a guy who is a conveyor, get the ball from here to there. When Durant's not playing, Green actually is part of the offense, and he plays with such more smarts and verve, and so does Curry. They play better when Durant's not there. They seem to like being the guys responsible. But what people have to understand about Golden State is how good Iguodala is, how good Livingston is, how good Loney is, and how good Klay Thompson is. Most underrated two-way player in the league. And if I was LeBron James, my first pick of everybody in the entire league would be Thompson.
All right, Mike Francesa. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Al.
A busy slate in baseball, as we've stated 47 million times tonight, which means DK Sportsbook has its hands full. Let's chase or fade some of the bets available. Did you like that? 47 million times?
That's a lot.
I can hear you giggling.
Chase equals agree. Fade equals disagree. Here's our panel. DK Live, Steve Buchanan, James McCool, and the Athletics, Jonah Carey. So, it's Orioles and Rockies this evening at Coors Field. The O's serving up homers, which is not the goal of baseball, I can confirm. And this game total set at 12. So chase or fade that the over hits here, Steven.
So the Rockies have a 6.5 implied team total for tonight. Let's just take the over on this one. Let's just give a realistic projection. 15? Does that sound good for tonight against the Orioles?
Okay.
Realistically, the Rockies are absolutely crushing at Coors against lefty. That's something what they're known for. 366 WOBA, 237 isolated power. And you imagine this game's going to get out of hand quickly. John Means, he's been probably the Orioles' best pitcher, but he's a lefty. Now he's going to pitch in Coors. And then once that happens, you enter Coors Field, everything just goes away. All the stats you know and trust are gone at this point. So it just feels like this game's going to get out of hand. Then the Orioles' bullpen's going to come trotting in. They're averaging 1.6 home runs over 9 this season, which is one of the highest in the league. This game is going to be a bloodbath, you think, for the Rockies. So absolutely taking the over in this one.
You agree, Jonah? It's going to be a bloodbath?
I do. A couple other things to note here. Jeff Hoffman's pitching. It's his third major league start since 2017. So maybe the Orioles will get on the board a little bit too. Look for Trey Mancini to mash a little bit. And we were talking about how well the Rockies hit left-handers at home. Two guys to watch. Ian Desmond, much better against lefties. And Brendan Rodgers, the rookie, could do some things here too. And one more point on this. It snowed just a few days ago in Denver. That's true. Tonight's high at game time is supposed to be around 70 degrees. Warmer weather equals more balls taking off into the stratosphere at Coors Field.
All right, James, are you paying very close attention to the weather out west?
Well, yeah, I mean, I live in Colorado, so I'm about 10 minutes away from the stadium. It's a gorgeous day. I'm going to take the under here. I don't think that I'm going to chase it. I understand that the Orioles are absolutely trash, and their pitching staff and bullpen are both the worst. Their bullpen is giving up over a 500 slugging percentage on the season. But John Means is probably a little bit better than public perception because he is on the Orioles. And the Rockies have struggled really, really badly against left-handed pitching this year. They really only have two guys that are doing well in terms of X-stats against left-handed pitching right now, and that's Ian Desmond and Nolan Arenado. So I think that they probably put up like 4 or 5 runs, but the Orioles suck, and I don't really trust them to put up runs, and I don't know that they destroy John Means. So I'll take the under.
All right, the Mets are at home against the Tigers with Noah Syndergaard and A.K.A. Thorne. They've won 4 in a row, while the Tigers have lost 3 in a row. You can get a game parlay of the Mets money line and the under for plus 135. So chase or fade that this outcome is a lock here, Jonah.
Well, the under is relatively low here, and Noah Syndergaard's pitching. That's lovely. Pitching for the Detroit Tigers is Gregory Soto. Raise your hand if you've heard of Gregory Soto. 10.80 ERA through 3 starts this season. He's an emergency starter. This is not somebody that they plan to have at the beginning of the season in the rotation. It's not somebody who was even a top prospect. It's somebody to come in and fill innings. The Mets have an anemic offense, there's no question, especially with all the injuries that they've had, but they'll be able to hit Gregory Soto. So although parlays are always very tempting, the Mets can win this one by the money line. I don't think the under is going to come in.
James, is it a lock?
No, I don't think so either. Noah Syndergaard has been hittable this year, to say the least, and he's had really bad control issues through a couple games. We've seen him walking a lot of guys, and we've seen him laying that slider up over the middle of the plate, serving up some home runs. As much as I think that the Tigers are bad, I also think they do have a couple guys that can probably get to Syndergaard here, and a couple of smart hitters like Castellanos and Miggy that are going to take some walks. So I don't think that it's a lock, 1, that the Mets win, and 2, like Jonah just said, Soto is really, really bad, and any team can hit Soto really, really well, including the Mets. Guys like Pete Alonso, he's probably going to hit a home run tonight, or at least 1 or 2. So I think that not only do I think the Mets aren't a lock to win, I think that the over is probably a pretty good bet.
Steve.
Yeah, I definitely don't like this parlay, and there's anybody that's always a sucker for parlays, it's this guy right here. But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised because I think that Syndergaard, like these guys have been saying, has really been hittable. And while you don't fear this Tigers offense by any means, but Marlins just got a few whacks against Syndergaard his last time out, and that's an offense that's doing as poor as you can at this point. So I definitely don't like the under in this one, and honestly, I don't even really like Syndergaard in this matchup. I think of all the high-priced pitchers tonight, he's probably the one that I'm fading the most out of the guys that are priced at $9,900 and above. So that's not really respect for the Tigers, but it's more of how poorly Syndergaard has been pitching here. So I don't think this parlay is a good one at all, and I would definitely be fading this one.
All right, we'll need you 3 one more time for some MLB tiers advice. Weekend PGA Showdown picks are next.
That's right. Sorry, guys, we're not going to talk about Gleyber Torres because the Yankees game has been rained out in Kansas City. Anyway, right now we got some NASCAR price check with Pierce Dietrich for this weekend's Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Welcome to the Price Check. I'm Pierce Dietrich. Let's look at the salaries for Charlotte, whose salary jumped up this week. Alex Bowman, $7,000 up to $8,100. He's finished second in each of the last 3 races, or he's been the first loser in each of the last 3 races. Clint Bowyer, $8,500 up to $9,400. He's a worthless DFS NASCAR play last week, but in the post-race fight, he scored 2.5 points for 5 significant strikes. Kyle Larson, $8,700 up to $9,600. He won $1 million last week. How much of that goes to his boss? And if he keeps that money, his wife's just going to spend it all. Whose salary dropped this week? Martin Truex Jr., $11,400 down to $10,600. In the early days of DFS NASCAR, he was a lock at Charlotte. That's not the case in the high downforce, low horsepower package. Kyle Busch, 11,900 down to 11,200. He scored 210 points in last year's Memorial Day race, and he's affordable this week. Chase Elliott, 11,000 down to 10,300. He's led over 35 laps in each of the last 2 intermediate track races, but his Cup wins have been fluky and at odd racetracks. Don't at me. Favorite play of the week, Kevin Harvick, 10,800. He had the best car at Kansas. He had the best car in the All-Star race, and he was optimal in both races. It doesn't matter that he didn't win. Corey LaJoie, 5,200. He's done a great job at piloting Matt DiBenedetto's old ride. He's got a top 30 finish in 5 of the last 6 and 8 of the last 11. All right, guys, check out the DK playbook for your DFS information and needs. If you've got NASCAR questions, hit me on Twitter at Race for the Prize. I'm your teacher. Catch me on DK Live.
Everybody, please give a warm welcome to the esteemed Geoff Ulrich of DK Live.
What's going on? Why are you being so nice to him?
I'm always nice to Geoff.
Okay. All right. Well, Geoff, we need your top picks for this weekend's PGA Showdown contest. The Charles Schwab Challenge is currently underway. 3 golfers sitting at over 10K for the weekend. Spieth, Finau, Rahm. Who was the best play?
Strong open, Jessie. Strong open, I admit. Look, I mean, Jon Rahm's not going to be playing the weekend, so you better not play Jon Rahm. I mean, that's a good start to things here, right? I mean, that makes sense. Jordan Spieth is pretty much did what we all thought he would do today. He regressed. He didn't have gained 5 strokes on the green. He's gaining just barely positive on the greens. He's losing strokes on his approaches again. He's actually been okay off the tee. He's still not hitting it consistently enough for me to want to chase. The easy answer is just play Tony Finau because, like I said, and like I got in my graphic back there, you probably can't see it because it's so far from the camera, but he's learned how to putt. I mean, he's gaining over a stroke on the putting greens again today. His approaches are still great. He hit more fairways. He's better off the tees. He's getting in at -8. He birdied the last hole to get to -8. He's T2. You got to love Tony Finau. So he's going to be really highly owned in the weekend slate. You know, the thing is, so many players have missed the cut this week. Like, there's so much carnage with the withdrawals. You got Paul Casey, Louis, you got Braun missing the cut. Ricky missed the cut just now. I mean, if you're going to go with an elite player, I think going with Francesco Molinari is like a non-Tony Finau alternative makes sense. I think going down even further, Rory Sabatini's playing well. But, you know, there's not much to choose from at the top this weekend because all the guys missed the cut. So,
all right, what about someone who has struggled so far that could put on their rally cap this weekend? Tell us who it could be.
Yeah, I dove deep here. I mean, it's just me. Obviously, if I was Reed, he'd just be like, play Tony Finau and play Zach Johnson. But Zach Johnson missed the cut and Reed's not here. So I dove deep here. We got Ian Poulter coming in strong. Been hitting the ball well. Only a +2, but he can turn things around. Who else? Brad Staniker's another guy. He had an awful opening round, 74. Basically, was just hitting it terribly. He turned it around today, though, made the cut -3. Brad Staniker's got a great record at Colonial. I think he makes for a great weekend play. He'll probably be my top choice for the weekend. And then one more name I'd throw out, Vaughn Taylor. Opened poorly, but he really turned it around today, too. Got the putter back going. So Vaughn Taylor, Ian Poulter, Brad Staniker, all guys I'd be looking for turnarounds this weekend.
How about on the flip side here? Who's someone who started hot but you think could fade down the stretch? Looking at a guy like maybe Kevin Na, T2. There's Jason Duffner there, T4.
Hey, don't throw shade at the Na. I mean, come on, Kevin Na is a treasure.
Is he?
Jason Duffner, though, I mean, yeah, just watch yourself, Emerson. Jason Duffner is a guy I'm looking at to fade, though. I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. He's 3rd in strokes gained putting, and if you've watched golf consistently over the past 4 or 5 years, you've probably witnessed Jason Duffner having a couple meltdowns on the green. I recall an incident at the RBC Heritage a couple years ago where he just basically left his putter there on the green. He's given his putter away to kids walking by. He's been so disgusted. So I don't think this putting performance by Duffner is going to hold up over the weekend personally, which sucks. I mean, I like Jason Duffner. He's kind of hilarious. He's one of the best personalities on tour, but I'd be looking to fade him personally. He also didn't finish this round well. He's kind of lagging. So Jason Duffner's probably be my big fade for the weekend.
Okay, Geoff, can't let you go till we get your slate approved pick. Who's the golfer you think is a lock for the weekend?
I mean, I'm not going to take the easy way out like Reed would and just pick Tony Finau. I do really like Rory Sabatini, but let's go with Brad Staniker. I really think he turned things around. He's got a great record at Colonial. No one's going to play Brad Staniker either. Well, some people might, but he's going to be lower owned for weekend golf. So give me some Brad Staniker for the weekend.
Okay, in my opinion, do not sleep on Jim Furyk. How about that, partner?
I mean, hey, I'm team like no hair here, so Jim Furyk's definitely in my ballpark.
And you look so good.
Geoff, you're hilarious.
You look so good, Geoff.
You're so funny.
Perfect, Geoff. You're absolute perfection.
Thanks, guys.
All right, go enjoy your weekend now.
Yeah, we'll be back with one more block of baseball after a quick Stanley Cup preview.
Kaufman's Wyman were amped up. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. And, the Bruins are actually favored to win Game 1. Shouldn't be shocking. They've won 7 straight. They're 6-3 at home. But the Blues are 7-2 on the road this postseason. So who do you like in this one?
I like the Bruins. Until otherwise, I like the Bruins. I don't think the long layoff should really play a factor. I think they're a veteran group. They know they've been here before. Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, David Krejci, Zdeno Chara, all those guys have been to the Cup together before. I expect them to come out at home and don't really skip a beat. Tuukka Rask has been the best goalie in the postseason so far, so they've got the edge there. You got a rookie goaltender in Jordan Binnington who's looked fantastic this postseason. But again, he's a rookie. This is the biggest game of his career, so you don't really know what to expect from the Blues side, but I know what to expect from the Bruins, so I'm not really going to stray far until otherwise.
Yeah, this is the biggest game of his career until the next one, the next one, the next one, here in the Stanley Cup Final at least. And Tuukka Rask is battle-tested. He's been in the Cup Final before. But the over-under is just 5 for this first game because both teams coming off of long layoffs. The Bruins almost twice as long as the Blues. It'll be 10 full days between games for them. Should we expect the under in this one? Just nice and low scoring?
I think so. Mostly because of how these two teams play. A lot of physicality on the Blues and Bruins, and special teams will be a big factor in this. And like I said before, the goaltenders have been playing fantastic, Rask and Binnington.
Yep.
So if both those goalies keep it going, I don't really see this game. And it's interesting because that 5, usually you get the 5.5 on the over-under. So I'm a little hesitant there, but really this game should be tight, game 1. So I'm really not I think the under's the way that you should go.
One more time with the Baseball Bros, one more block in the show. Steve, James, and Jonah. And we need some help building out a roster in tonight's Tiers contest. A little different here, guys,
Okay.
Yeah.
Tiers, starting in Tier 3. Take your pick here, Steve.
So if you want to be boring, I would definitely say go with Josh Bell, because that's where everybody's going to go. I mean, the guy's smashing the ball right now, so I totally understand. I actually like Jorge Polanco in this spot a little bit more here. I mean, he's facing Ronaldo Lopez, 391 WOBA against lefties, of a 6.75 xFIP, 6 of his 11 home runs against lefties. I think this is a matchup that you definitely want to target, and I think Polanco's going to come in at pretty relatively low ownership because Bell is in this same tier. And like I said, nothing absolutely wrong with taking Bell. He's absolutely annihilating the baseball right now, but I think this is a really good spot for Polanco and the Twins as a whole. So if there's any other Twins in a tier that you like, I definitely like them as well.
Jonah, where are you going here in Tier 3?
Steve just called me boring. He just flat out said that. I can't believe he would say that. Listen, Josh Bell
Welcome
is
to the
boring.
show.
Well, thank you. But he's the right pick, You look at it, and I mentioned before the matchup against Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler throws a ton of fastballs. He's one of the most fastball-heavy pitchers in all of baseball. More than 60% of his offerings are fastballs. And the single best hitter in the entire National League against 14 fastballs is Josh Bell. You combine that with how hot he is. I like him a lot. I think he's chalk. Sometimes you just got to go with the chalk.
James, who are you going to go with in Tier 3?
I kind of echo Steve's sentiment here. Josh Bell is definitely the boring pick. But, I mean, he's the best pick, so I agree with Jonah on that. But at the same time, I do really, really like Jorge Polanco. I like the Twins' offense as a whole. I think that Wade LeBlanc is just trash. He's so trash. And the Twins have the highest slugging percentage as a team in the league. So when you combine those things, I think that Jorge Polanco hitting a really nice spot in the order, he probably has just as good of a chance to match Josh Bell's score, unless Josh Bell hits 4 home runs, which he can. But I really do like Jorge Polanco. If you're being boring and playing cash games, do Josh Bell.
Okay, friendly reminder again to everyone at home, do not roster Gleyber Torres because the Yankees, in case they're not playing tonight.
Might not play, yeah.
Tier 5, Jonah, decisions. So who's it going to be?
I like Mike Moustakas a lot in this one. You look at Moustakas in that cleanup spot in that lineup. Obviously, the Brewers can hit. We know that. They're playing at home in Miller Park. You have to appreciate that. And Jared Eichhoff is pitching. Now, Jared Eichhoff's season-long numbers are really good. His numbers in his last 2 starts, however, are awful. 9 innings pitched, 9 runs allowed, 5 home runs allowed, and one of those starts was against the Milwaukee Brewers. Moustakas lines up well for this one. He might not be chalk. I'm not sure if he is in this tier, but I do like him a lot. He's my pick for Tier 5.
James, who you going with?
Yeah, tier 5, probably Alberto Mondesi. And this is, I think that a lot of these guys are in really good spots. I like JT Realmuto. He's been really, really hot. I like Daniel Murphy playing in cores, obviously. Luke Voigt, fantastic play. But Alberto Mondesi has the highest upside of any of these guys by a long shot. He can hit home runs. He can steal bases. He has a hella extra base hits. He's so good and so raw, even in kind of an interesting spot against the Yankees bullpen and in a large park. I think that he has the highest upside of anybody in this tier. I think if I was going to go with a cash game pick, I'd choose Daniel Murphy, but for me, it's Alberto Mondesi.
The problem is that the Royals game just got rained out.
You're right. Okay. Well, then it's Daniel Murphy.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, there you go.
There you go. That's it.
Makes it easy.
But you did your homework, so you got to be able to present it to the class.
So you get an A.
Yeah. Who do we have left? Steve?
Oh, thanks. We'll go with somebody who's definitely not rained out. I mean, look, Jonah said it earlier, Mike Moustakas, I think he's probably going to be the chalk play of this tier. This is probably the worst tier of the ones that we have to select in this one. I wasn't really overly impressed with a lot of the matchups here, but yeah, this is such a great spot for Moustakas, who's been batting cleanup for the Brewers. I think this is an excellent spot to grab him here, but I think the ownership is going to come with it too as well. Daniel Murphy's a really good play as well if you want to get off the chalky Moustakas, just because all the runs that we're projecting the Rockies to get in this game. So definitely be Moustakas first, and then if you want to get away from the chalk, definitely go with Murphy.
All right, some big bats available in tier 6. Which one you taking here, James?
This bat is probably going to be Manny Machado. I just don't think that he belongs in this group. He's way better than a lot of the guys in here. The only other one that I would probably choose is Marcell Ozuna. But even if Manny Machado has been bad on the season, he's still one of the best talents in the league. I'm not going to pick on anybody who chooses Marcell Ozuna or Paul DeJong, both in a fantastic spot against a home run prone pitcher. But for me, I'm going to bet on talent and take Manny Machado.
Steve, who are you going with in tier 6?
Yeah, I'm going with Brandon Lau in this spot. And, going up against Shane Bieber. And, Bieber really struggled against lefties when he came up to the majors last season. It actually hasn't been as bad this year as it was last year, but what Lau's doing on the road against righties, he's just absolutely annihilating opposing righties on the road. 451 WOBA, 331 isolated power, 5 of his 10 home runs on the year, and that's exactly the type of matchup he's going to get here when he's at Progressive Field against the Indians. So I feel like this is a really, really low tier for him overall, so I think this is like a really good value spot for him, so I'm definitely going to go with him here.
Jonah, tier 6, where are you going?
I love the Cardinals against the Braves tonight. You look at Fulte, 4 of his last 5 starts. He's given up 4 runs or more. There's 2 Cardinals on the slate. Do you go with Paul DeJong or do you go with Marcell Ozuna? I literally flipped a coin because I love them both. Marcell Ozuna is my pick just based on the pitching matchup. I think the Braves are going to get hurt in this game.
Jonah, bonus question for you here. $3,100. What are your expectations for rookie Kevin Biggio tonight?
Don't love him just because of the matchup against Joey Lucchesi. 527 OPS allowed against lefties. It's a lefty-on-lefty matchup, a little bit of a tough one with a pitcher who can maybe bamboozle him a little bit. So I like Biggio in general, maybe not in his debut.
Okay, Steve, how much you like this kid in his debut?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with more with what Jonah just said. Look, we saw Vlad Guerrero come up and just, he wasn't the guy that we were expecting when he first came up. Once he's kind of settled into things, now he's hitting absolute rockets, in San Francisco too. He's just hitting absolute bombs out to center field. So definitely not high on him today, but as he, kind of gets accustomed to the major leagues, gets some better matchups, yeah, he's definitely someone you'll be targeting on a nightly basis.
That's a good point. Steve hit his first home run at home against your Red Sox on Wednesday. James, what do you think about the kid in his debut?
No, I mean, I do think there's something to be said for guys that are just coming up from the minors, and I call it like the minor league boost, and they're coming up, and he's obviously a great prospect, but like these guys said, it's kind of a tough matchup. I'm not really a fan of it, and there's just better places to spend on a huge 14-game slate.
All right, last one here. Who's your DFS lock for tonight's 14? Probably not 14 games. A couple have been
rained
out.
It's like 13 now.
13, maybe 12.
Right.
Doesn't have to be somebody in tiers. It can be for classics. So, Steve, who are you going with?
I really like Jose Barrios in this spot. He might not be the most popular pitcher of the expensive guys tonight, but the White Sox are striking out so much right now. They're the fourth highest K percentage in the league, second highest over the past 2 weeks. Barrios has got that swing and miss potential, so I like him a lot in this spot.
James.
I really, really like Ian Desmond. He's been hitting really, really well for the Rockies. He's cheap on FanDuel. He's pretty cheap on DraftKings, but not quite as much. But I think he hits a home run tonight.
Jonah, slate approved.
I also like Ian Desmond a lot in this matchup. It's a great. There you go. It's a great matchup. He's facing lefties. Ian Desmond is a bad overall baseball player. He's a replacement level player or worse. But at home against a lefty, perfect matchup, nice weather. I like him to do some damage. Multiple hits tonight for Ian Desmond.
All right. That's a show. Gentlemen, we appreciate it. Enjoy your holiday weekend.
Yeah, which means we will be back on Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday. We're not here.
It's a 3-day weekend, so we'll be back here on Tuesday at 6 p.m. As usual, you can watch on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the DK pages, especially the
Look at
DK
this.
Live app.
That's a dog twerking.
Okay.
Look at my
Download
Twitter timeline.
the DK Live app. We'll see you Tuesday at 6 p.m.